Hey there. So I have been trying to record this just as a video and then upload it, the old way of doing things, and I have been re-recording and re-recording not thinking it's good enough, so I decided, I better go live because when I go live, there's no second chances. There's no way I guess I could stop and re-record it. But those of you who watch it live will know about that. So here we go. Um, what I'm here today to talk about is why it's important, I believe, to know who you are. Now, there's obvious reasons, like knowing who you are allows you to have greater self-confidence, usually, if you like who that is, right? It also allows you to show up authentically in life and to be who you're going to be in every situation. Um, and that's also very important, very empowering. I would like to go so far to say, too, though, that knowing who you are helps you to be happier in your life. It helps you to be able to reach your goals, to have motivation to continue to go towards your goals no matter what gets in your way. And the reason this is because knowing who you are, you know what it is that motivates you. You know what it is that lights you up, that makes you excited, and you actually are able to find out what your purpose is. And knowing that, is great motivation, right? So how do we know? How do we know who we are? Well, I have discovered recently, with the help of a friend, temperament styles. Temperament, then, is something that is the core part of you. It doesn't change. It's like part of your DNA, and I'd like to go so far as to say that it's part of your eternal makeup, part of that spiritual part of you that exists forever, and that doesn't change. So our temperament mixes with our environment and causes us to form different personalities, causes us to express different behaviors. Our personality can change because we can change our environment, especially when we become aware of how our environment causes us to think and to show up. So you hear that, we become the average of the 5 people we hang around with the most, and we can make conscious decisions to change that. But when it comes to our temperament, that doesn't change. So it's really important to understand what that is. I've been lucky to be exposed to a theory that is in the process of being published, but until then, I feel like I want to get the word out. I'm begging him to get it published so that I can share it, and he's allowed me to do so. So I'm just going to give you a little tidbit so that when it's ready to release, that I can just let it out on you, because it's really helped me a lot to know who I am. So there's people who have heard of the color code, and it's similar to the color code. It's quite a bit different as well. But if you understand the color code, you understand a little bit of where I'm coming from. There's also Carol Tuttle, who has Dress Your Truth, a poor connection. There we go. She has energy typing that actually is quite consistent with this temperament theory as well. Just to give you a little bit of an example, there's 4 different temperament types, and because of all of our different situations, our different DNA types and characteristics and things like that, each person is unique, but there are 4 different temperament types that we can be categorized into that really help us understand more of who we are and why we're motivated to do the things that we do. Every temperament is beautiful. Every temperament is perfect for each one of us. Each temperament also has strengths and weaknesses attached to it. Weaknesses come from the way we interpret our environment and the choices we make to respond or react to that. So we can turn each weakness into a strength as we understand what we're motivated by. So a type 1 is motivated by fun and by living in the now. That's simple. It goes so much deeper than that, but first, simple explanation. A number 2, that's who I am, motivated by comfort and connection. And number 3, they're motivated by achievement and success and always going toward a goal. And number 4, motivated by finding the best way to do things, always improving things, motivated by perfection, not in the negative way, in the positive way. However, it can be interpreted to become the perfectionism that we all talk about. In fact, we can all develop that by misinterpreting our temperament. Just to give you a simple example of how knowing what your temperament is allows you to understand yourself a little bit better, because our results can look the same. In fact, if we have a why, we hear a lot in business entrepreneurship, what is your why? Because that's going to motivate you to keep going no matter what. And sometimes we look to other people to find what our why is. Like, oh, that person's successful, so her why is to, I don't know, to build schools in a third world country. So that's what I'm going to have my why be, because that's important and people will follow that because it's, a really good thing to do. And then we start to do the things that person does when honestly it doesn't really motivate us from the inside. And eventually when times get hard, we'll give up saying, well, I'm not made to do that, or whatever other excuse we can come up with. I'm actually going to use a really simple example to explain the difference in just two different temperament styles in achieving the same goal. And the reason I'm sharing it is because it's what helped me to really connect with my temperament style, because I was trying to choose all other ones except for the one that I am, finding all the reasons to not believe that those weaknesses are my weaknesses. So anyway, the example that was given to me was an organized closet. So they were explaining that temperament 4 would have a perfectly organized closet, color-coded and everything. And I'm like, wait a minute, my closet is color-coded. So wouldn't I be a 4? And he said, well, tell me why your closet is color-coded. And I'm like, well, that's easy, because it's easy to find things. And he said, well, easiness is comfort. That's your motivation. You're motivated by walking into an environment that feels nice because it's organized, and you can look to your blue shirts and find your blue shirt easily. That's comfort. A 4, on the other hand, would have their closet organized simply because it's the best way to do it. So not only is it color-coded, but every shirt is pressed and facing the same way and just perfect on the hanger so that it's ready to wear. And I immediately, well, that's not my closet. Mine, sometimes my shirts are inside out, but they are organized according to color. So then I began to realize, yeah, you're right. Comfort is my motivation. And then I started to understand I love connecting with people. I love helping people feel comfortable in any situation. I also love to feel comfortable. I'm not a camper, for example. The Holiday Inn, that's my version of camping. So anyway, knowing that has really helped me to connect with who I am, and has really helped me to make choices for goals that fit with who I am, instead of thinking that it's what other people want me to be. The most important thing, I believe, is that it's helped me to accept who I am. It's helped me to understand that some of the weaknesses I have come from my desire to be comfortable, to the point that I avoid risking relationships because it might be uncomfortable. So my comfort in those cases was getting in the way of my connection. It was leaving me disorganized and feeling a little bit of anxiety. So when I realized that, then I'm able to make decisions to lean into uncomfortable situations to actually achieve the goal that I want. And by forming connection in relationships, that's way more comfortable than avoiding them and trying to feel like I'm a part of life while living on the outside. So that's really simple. I'm really excited to be able to share this with you more and more as it comes out, and I hope that it makes sense to you. I hope you understand it, and I hope it helps you to have a desire to get to know who you are a little bit better, because I promise you it's a lot more fun. So anyway, have a great day. I'll talk to you next time.